Hey everyone, this is Keith Schleicher from Gaming Trend and Tabletop Throwdown, and I'm here with Peter Gusis, and we are here to talk about his upcoming game Salvation Road, which was successfully launched on Kickstarter last year.
Yep, about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, right at Origins last year is when the campaign was ending up.
So let's get a brief refresher about how the game works and what the objective of the game itself actually is.
So Salvation Road's a co-op game. It plays from 1 to 4 players. Actually, we do have scenarios that take it up to 8 players. It plays 60 to 90 minutes even with up to 8 players. The theme of the game is a post-apocalyptic world. Actually, the cover does a very good job of kind of showing the theme. You've got marauders out there who are attacking your compound, and you are a ragtag group which consists of both heroes and also survivors. It is not a hostage over there. That's actually the Screamer, who tends to yell whenever danger's in trouble, so his own friends have to keep him in check. And that theme actually plays out throughout the course of the game as well. You know, your survivors are these great heroes that have awesome special abilities that help your team, while your survivors, they can do the exact same actions, but they have some kind of a negative ability. So you need them to get through the game, but you have to mitigate that power they have.
Yeah. Cool. So how many characters are there in the game itself?
So there's a total of 16. Again, you're never going to use more than 8. So you got heroes over here. And then again, you have people like Mealy, who, you know, is oblivious. Obviously, she's smoking a cigarette right next to Dynamite. So you have Susan Davis, who's kind of a cool character, but her wheelchair's damaged, so it's harder for her to move around. So again, Rashid, this is a Screamer from the cover. Every time bad stuff happens, he goes running and screaming. So he is, any location he's at has increased threat, for example. Where, like I said, Susan, it's harder for her to move.
So there are different locations on the board here?
Yeah, so the way it works is everybody's going to start at the compound, and then we have all these different locations that are on these instant photographs, these replica instant photographs. So you're going to start face down on the board, and as you move to the locations, they become revealed, and they have different powers. And then the location also has a threat value that'll go up as you search it and find more resources there. The threat's going to go up at the location.
So how does a typical turn go?
Okay, so if it was a 2-player game, it'd normally be, you'd have 4 characters. Each player would play 2 characters. Everybody gets 1 survivor and 1 hero.
Okay.
And that way, you could choose either of your characters to take a turn. You activate them. Things you could do are moving. You could search. When you search, you flip over one of the search cards, and it reveals the resources that'll be present at your location. You'd add those tokens. I'm obviously adding different tokens. One of the other actions you could do while you're at a location that has resources is you can gather, take in the resource from the location, putting it on your character sheet. And as you notice, these health circles here, that's your carrying capacity, but also as you get wounded, that also represents your wound capacity as well. And if you ever fill up on wounds, then you have to remove that character from the game.
Cool. So is it objective based, or do you have certain, you said you had certain scenarios?
Yes, so the goal of the game in the base game is to fill up your truck. So you have this truck mini board over here, to fill up the truck with the resources that you're going to need to travel to Salvation. The goal is to, as you're fighting off all these different threats, you have marauders gathering around the compound. The reason you're leaving in the first place is the radiator, the generator under the compound is about to blow up. You have a nuclear reactor down there, so you have a limited amount of time. So you're fighting against the clock. We use the apocalypse cards, which are kind of the bad events that happen to you at the end of the turn. That is the timer for the game. So as you go through, when you start running out of cards, then you have to finish before you run out of cards. So that serves as a timer. You have marauders gathering around the gate. If there's ever too many marauders, then the compound's overrun and you lose. If any player loses both of their characters, both their hero and their survivor, the players lose as well. The goal, though, is to complete these road cards here. So at the end of the game, you're going to have a certain number of road cards depending on the number of players, and you have to gather enough resources in the truck to fill all the road cards. So for this, I need 2 meds and 3 gas. For the next one, I need 3 bullets and 2 gas. And as you can see on the back, it tells you what resources you'll need. You obviously always need gas because you're moving a truck full of people down the road. So you're always going to need gas, but you're also going to need another resource to go with it. And so you have a little bit of an idea of what you're going to need. There are ways throughout the course of the game also to flip it over and find out exactly what you need. But there isn't enough time to do everything. So you really have to decide where you're going to spend your time, where you're going to spend your resources.
Cool. And you said 1 to 4 players,
Yep.
and it will be available in about a month or so.
Yeah, the box just hit shores yesterday. So
Okay.
hopefully within the next couple of days it'll clear customs and then be available for everybody else. So
And how long does a typical game take?
it's usually 60 to 90 minutes for most players to play. Certainly 2 players, I mean, I've knocked it out with my co-designer in 30 to 45 minutes. You know, once you really get to know the game, it gets singing. But for most players, it's going to take 60 to 90 minutes.
And what's the retail going to be on that?
Retail's 55.
Okay, very cool. Thank you very much. And now we are here to talk about Dark Dealings. So tell us a little bit about the game. I know that there's 2 different phases to it, and
there's actually 3 phases to the game. There's 2 bidding phases and then a combat phase. So the game plays from 1 to 6 players, plays in 20 to 30 minutes. It's basically just 2 decks of cards, and you got a first player marker, which looks like the Eye of Sauron over here. I think if you put a marble in the middle, you'd be pretty good. I had nothing to do with that, so I'm allowed to gawk at it. But bottom line is you are an evil overlord, and your goal is to defend your home from these pesky heroes who decide to attack you for no good reason, just because you're taking villagers' daughters and like turning them into sheep and things like that. There's no good reason for them to be attacking you. So your job is to defend your home against these heroes who've come after you.
so tell us about the bidding phases, because those are the first 2 parts,
Yep,
right?
so the first bidding phase, you're going to get a hand of 9 heroes. There are various different heroes. The heroes have several different pieces of information on the card. First, they have an armor value. The next thing you'll see is they have vulnerabilities, and this is a better example of that because it has all 3. They can be vulnerable to spells, monsters, or traps. The last thing they have is a challenge value. The higher the challenge value, the harder they are to defeat. As you can see here, this one has a higher armor value and also is only vulnerable to 2 of the 3 different types of defenses you're going to have. So they're going to have a higher challenge value. Now, they also may have special text. Each type of character, and there are only 6 in the game, have their own special ability. So these heroes, and we do have 2 pieces of art for each one. There is a male and a female version of each of the 6 base heroes. So the different heroes, Rangers, very simple. They don't have any special text on them. The goal when you're fighting them is to use defenses that have, so you can see this is a monster defense here with a value of 2. So you have to get higher than their armor value, equal to or higher than their armor value. So right here, this is a spell that does 7 damage. This would take care of this ranger all by itself. Or this ranger on the bottom again, you can exceed their armor value as well. You may even need to use multiple defenses to defeat the same hero. So if you're fighting this hero on the bottom, here, bring it closer, you can use 4 points from this and 2 points from this to do a total of 6 and equal his armor. So Rangers are pretty straightforward. They have no special ability. Berserkers, any defense you strike them with is destroyed. So in the example over here that we had, these 2 defenses, this one has 3 uses typically, but no matter where you are on it, if it hit a Berserker, it would be destroyed. The Halflings have to be defeated twice. So you can do 4 damage and then 2 more and 2 more. So it doesn't add up though. So it's not like 4 and 2 is 6 and 6 beats them twice. You have to beat them once at value 3 and then you have to beat them again at value 3. So that's the Halflings. The Thieves, you have to exactly match their number. Can't go over. Wizards will trash one of your defenses before you ever get to use it. And the Knights, normally you can only use each defense once, but for a Knight, you can use it multiple times. So as you can see, he's vulnerable to traps. This would normally only be able to do 2 to him, but because it's a Knight, you can use it for 2, 2, and then 2 again, using it all up, but get it taking care of the Knight. So the goal is really to survive these heroes attacking you. So during the first phase of the game, you're going to be drafting the heroes. The way that works, you get 9 hero cards in your hand. You're going to pick 2 of them to keep, pass the 7 to the player to your left. Then you're going to get 7 more from them, pick 2 more to keep, pass the next 5. Do it 2 more times until you have 8 hero cards in front of you. Now you have these 8 heroes, and you get to draft the defenses. Drafting defenses, the way it works is you lay out twice as many defenses as there are players. So in a 2-player game, you'd lay out 4 defenses. Then you're going to choose, based on the defenses and the heroes you have, 2 of your heroes to bid with. Your opponent's going to do the same thing. You flip it over, and the only thing you really care about now is the challenge value. So the highest challenge value on this table is 22 right now, so I would have first choice of defense. So let's say I take this. I take this, put my hero face down. Now the next 2, 12 and 13, are both higher than 11, so you would get to go and choose 2 in a row. So let's say you choose these 2, and then you put them 13 face down with a 12 on top of it. And it's very important to make sure you get this order right, because during this bidding phase, not only are you determining which defenses you get, but you're also determining the order that your heroes are going to come out and attack you. So we're going to do this again a couple more times. Put 4 more defenses out. We draft again. Bottom line at the end is you're going to have 8 heroes stacked up here. You're going to have 8 defenses sitting in front of you. And that's when you go to the 3rd phase of the game, where the heroes attack you. So you're going to flip up your top hero, try to beat him. If you beat him, flip up another one, flip up another one. Meanwhile, of course, your defenses are dwindling as you're going along, right? So if I need to beat him for 7 points, I do that. He's defeated. Go again, beat the halflings. There's 2. Now I need to do 2 more. I can only use green. You notice I don't have any, except for this wild card here, so I have to use that to defeat him. So again, now I've defeated these heroes. Actually, I wouldn't have been able to defeat him at all, because the first one was only a 2, and his armor's 3. So I would have lost right here. When you lose, you're done. There is player elimination in the game, but as you've seen, you go through these pretty quickly. And so, last man standing. You don't have to beat all the heroes that are attacking you. You just have to survive longer than anybody else who's playing.
So when you do the defenses with the heroes attacking, do you go one at a time around the table?
Yep,
or?
so that's why we have the first player marker. So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna have to defeat mine. So again, I need a 2 and a 2. If I defeat it, now you flip your hero and you try to defeat it. The next person would try to defeat theirs, and so on until it came back around. So as long as you survive longer than other players, now if people die on the same, or are eliminated on the same round, then there's tiebreakers, of course. Whoever has more defenses left over is going to be the first tiebreaker. After that, you look at the challenge value of the hero that defeated you. Whoever has the highest challenge value, that player is going to be the winner. They were defeated by the best hero.
Cool.
So,
and this is going to be available in about a month?
soon, yeah. I mean, the latest I had heard street date was July 15th, or July 12th, I think it is. Mid-July. Bottom line, mid-July.
Okay, cool. And that will retail for how much?
$20 for the base game. We would also have a couple of small expansions, which are
cool.
selling for $5. That add things like additional heroes, the different additional defenses. They're all a little bit different. Obviously, as you can see, the heroes are all very different. But the defenses, do a couple more things, give you more options than you have in just the base game.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this since we got the chance to take a look at it last year.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited. We got 2 games coming out in the next month, and we can't wait for people to get them in their hands. We think they'll be as happy with them as we are. And it's just, they're fun. That's what games are all about.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you, Keith.